Hey, buddy, I know it's been a minute, and you probably don't remember me, but I'm your father. And look, just like I promised, the milk. So everything's gonna be okay. Good day, everybody, and welcome back to the Tomb of Vercillias Devlog series. Devlog number 6 we are jumping into. It's been a minute. I apologize for that, and I promise it will not be 6 weeks before the next one. It's gonna be 7. Let's jump into it because there's been so much going on. So for anyone who was not aware, there was an RPGMaker game jam going on last month, and we decided to actually join it. I didn't really have any intention to, and then I was like, you know what? Maybe it would be kind of fun to take a sidestep and do just a fun little project. I was like, we're gonna spend 1 week. That's gonna be all. We're gonna push out just this simple little 1-bit lemonade stand game, and in a week it'll be done and we'll call it good, and that's gonna be that. And it ended up taking about a month of my life, both on stream and off stream. So good times. I'm not going to talk about it too much because I'm probably going to make its own devlog video just going over how it was made and all that fun stuff. But we did get it finished, it was submitted, and it is in the submissions page now. Now, this is my game right here, Lemonade on Main Street, and like I said, it is very basic looking. And that's because it was supposed to be basic looking, you know? It's not supposed to be anything that crazy. I just want to do an isometric looking game with very basic 1-bit graphics, and it just turned into absolute madness. But for anyone interested, it is on itch, and you can download it or just play it in your browser, and yeah, let me know if you like it or not. And anyway, so that is now behind us, and it's fully functional as far as I know. There are some bugs that I am aware of, but they aren't game-breaking. But yeah, like I said, I will probably be making a full devlog on how I actually made this game and all that fun stuff, so if you're interested. Or if you want to spend a lot of time, it was all live streamed and all that fun stuff. So anyway, so that has been the majority of my time over the past month or so. But not everything has been lemonade and game jams. We did do quite a bit on Tomb of Vercillias since the last devlog, so let's get into all of that we've done, plus all the frustrations and headaches we have experienced. We're just going to kind of rapid fire through most of these because there's a lot that we did, and I want to make sure that we get through all of it without having this go way too long because, well, I don't want you to get bored and click away, so don't click away, or I might have to go get some milk again. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, starting off with the main menu. I know I'd shown this off in the last devlog, so I just kind of wanted to go over the little bits of changes that we did. So if you continue your game, and if you have a saved game, it now has a little X button here, so you can delete your saved game, and it'll be, actually, there's no warning message, it just deletes your game. So be very cautious about that. But if you do new game, and we do new game, and next, and yada yada yada, and then it saves the game, then we refresh it and come back over here, and if you press the exit, then deletes it again, so you can delete it on the new game or the continue game. But the one place that actually does have a warning, and we'll probably copy and paste basically the exact same thing as if you do new game, you try to save over save file 1, which has the saved game, it'll then be like, if you do this save file, it's going to save over your existing game. Are you sure you want to do that? And you can be like, yes, I do. And it'll delete your game, and you have your next game. So happy day. The next thing that maybe the keen-eyed among you have noticed is the slight change in the sizing of the UI, especially this top window and this bottom window. And that is because I was working on creating a mini-boss, and I got absolutely destroyed by it. It was just so buggy, I had to scrap it all, and we're gonna go over that in just a little bit. Had to scrap it all, and I was like, okay, maybe we just need to redo the entire UI completely. So I drew up this whole new concept, and I switched things around, and yada yada yada, and eventually I was like, you know what? It's not actually the sidemars. It's not the sidebars that I have an issue with, it was the whole combat area that was the problem. So I was like, what if we simplify it? And so we did. It doesn't look anything like this concept, but it got us on the right track. And so now the new rough idea for the actual UI is smaller window up here for your point of view, and then slightly larger, what I'm calling now the action window. That's what I'm calling it. Yep, we've decided just here and now. The action menu is right here, and that's where like the combat's going to be taking place, puzzles, dialogue, anything that is going to be interactable with what is in this room here will all show up here. So eventually things like the puzzles that usually would pop up right here, they're not going to pop up in the middle of the screen, they'll kind of pop up down here in this action area. So yeah, hopefully should be better. Now, before, basically each of the monsters had their own set armor class. And so like, say for example, this guy would have an armor class of 12. And so you had to draw over a 12 to be able to actually hit him. Well, now the monsters will all have a chance to draw 2 cards in the beginning, giving them the potential opportunity to get blackjacks or draw really high like this guy currently is. I would have to draw an 18, which I'm guessing I'm probably not gonna be able to do. See? Not able to do it. But holy crap, and then a 20. Oh, but I also got a 20. Which also leads us into our next thing is, unlike with Blackjack, where the player would normally if you tied, not necessarily the player, if you would tie, then it was just kind of a, you're done, both people get their money back, and then you can do stuff again. But in our game, the rules, since we can make our own rules, because we are the developers of this game, we've made it so that the player wins ties. So right now, since we're each 20, I get the win because I'm the player, and so I could do that, and then I attack, and bada bing, bada boom, and there we go, and we draw again, and he's only got a 9 this time, so I can attack again, and bada bing, bada boom, and then let's see what happens. 19, crap. Anyway, so that's the new combat. Hopefully it's going to feel a little bit better. It's not going to feel so static of, oh, it's this monster, he has exactly this armor class every single time. They're drawing every time, and hopefully that'll make it feel better. So, yeah. Ha! Sucker. All right, let's see here. Make monster death, clear scene, make player attack functionality, make monster attack functionality, make tie functionality, make monster auto attack on Blackjack, attack card show over enemy HUD bars. Ah, there we go. There's the next thing. Adding the wisdom stat. I knew there was something else. So, the wisdom stat, if you remember, we had 3 stats before. We had vitality, we had dexterity, and we had luck. But I was like, 3 stats just doesn't seem like enough, and so we decided to add a wisdom stat. So, there's a wisdom stat now. It doesn't do a whole lot yet, but it's there in case we need it. The next big change that we made was how the exits worked and like spawned in the dungeon. So originally, I was like, what if we just make it a staircase, right? And you go down the stairs and that would just spawn somewhere in the dungeon. Just as long as it's not spawning where the player is spawning, it can spawn anywhere in the dungeon. But I was like, I don't know, stairs, So I decided we're gonna go back to the doors. Yes, we're going back to the doors. Now, how would we make the doors spawn in? We would need to make sure that anywhere the door went, it couldn't be somewhere like a room like this, right? Where there was a way that you could go forward. So basically all I did was I just kind of took the code that I used to make the staircase and was just like, hey, pick a random room. Is there a room there? And then basically I just went in with a else handler, checking a variable, saying, is this variable equal to 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 10, or 11? And the reason why it's those numbers is because all of those numbers correlate to a room that does not have a north-facing direction you can go. So it wouldn't spawn here, but it spawned here. Wouldn't spawn here, but it could spawn here, could spawn here, couldn't spawn here, couldn't spawn here, could spawn here, could spawn here, couldn't. So yeah, so that's basically what I did to actually make the exit door spawn was, so long as you could not go forward or north, however you want to, think about it, if you couldn't go in that direction, then it would spawn an exit. If not, then it would just loop back through, choose a new room until it would finally pick a new room, and yeah, that's what we did. So now if we're in here in the dungeon, we can come over here, find variable 36. So the exit is room 47. So if we navigate up here to room 47. Why the crap is the mini-boss still here? Well, that can lead us into the next nightmare, because you can kind of see the door behind him. That'll lead us into the next nightmare that just destroyed me. The mini-boss. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Oh, but he's so cute looking. What's his problem? What's his deal? Well, let me tell you, the whole thing with the mini-boss, and I can only talk about it just for a little bit because it just destroyed me on the live stream. The two times that I tried to do it, I don't know what it was, but it just created so many freaking bugs. Let me show you. Okay, so this is where we were in the list of things that we had done up until that point, right? Make the exit doors instead of stairs. So then I created a new thing to be like, all right, let's create a mini boss. Went through, tried to make the mini boss, ran into so many problems. I spent an entire live stream, 4 freaking hours trying to make this mini boss. So many bugs. So then I was like, you know what? We're going to scrap all of it. I deleted all of it. And I was like, we're going to come back to this. So we scrapped it. And then that's where we kind of took the break for the whole lemonade stand thing and yada, yada, yada. And it was a grand old time and ran into a bunch of bugs there. And anyway, that's not important. So then when we came back, I was like, okay, we've been away for a while. We're going to come back and we can make this mini boss. I'm like, I have an idea. We can do it. We're going to get this thing done. Basically, let me show you how many bugs we ran into. So starting with here. So the bug, when leaving combat, it sometimes attacks you / the monster. Yeah, just after I made the mini boss, right? Already had a bunch of issues, got it to the point where it was working. And then I was like, all right, there's some bugs. Let's get this figured out. So when you'd leave the room, it would attack you or the monster sometimes, not every time, just sometimes. So went through, got that bug fixed. When I fixed that bug, like 3 more bugs popped up. So I fixed these bugs. When I fixed all 3 of those, 4 more bugs popped up. And it just continued again and again and again. So many freaking bugs. And I was like, why the freak is happening? So I was like, you know what? After spending another almost entire stream, trying a second time to make a mini boss, I was like, okay, delete it again. We're going to come back to this later. I'm going to have to think about it, which I believe, fingers crossed, I now have an idea for what we're going to do. Who knows? fingers crossed, we'll see what actually happens. I guess you'll find out on the next devlog. Anyway, so after it had broken me so badly, I still had like 30 minutes left on that stream that night, and so I ended up going in and fixing the transition animations, because if you'll remember, we made this whole viewport window up here, we made it smaller, and so the transition animation kind of went outside the bounds, but then we went through and fixed it, and so now it's all within the bounds, and so it doesn't look as janky anymore, so that was a good time. And then, last but not least, there was a bug when killing monsters. It wouldn't always drop it would always drop dice, but there was a weird bug where it wasn't actually showing the dice, and that's just because when we redid all the UI stuff, I changed image layers and this and that and the other thing, and so eventually I got it back to the point where when you killed a monster and it actually dropped a dice, it actually dropped it for you, and you could pick it up and put it in your inventory, and it was great. It was great. I was very happy after the absolutely soul-gutting and just horrificness that was the mini-boss. After being just destroyed by that, it was very nice to actually come in here and fix a few bugs and make it all work, so yeah. So anyway, that is everything that we've worked on in the last 6 weeks since the last devlog, so I know it probably doesn't sound like a whole lot, but with all of this that we did on Tomb of Vercillias, plus the lemonade stand stuff, it was a lot. It was a lot going on, and I am very excited to actually get back into being more consistent with these devlogs. Hopefully that'll actually be the case, and I promise, if I do leave to go get some milk, it will not be for as long. So, yeah. But anyway, that about wraps up everything for this devlog, so thank you all so much for watching. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it. And I'm assuming if you've made it this far, you probably are already a subscriber, so if you are, thank you. If you're not, what are you still doing here, not being subscribed? Please subscribe. And like the video, if you feel so inclined. If you didn't like the video, I guess you can give me a dislike, but also let me know what you didn't like about the video, because I want to know. Anyway, take care. I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye. Yeah.